types of calipers. You have digital, dial, and vernier. But today we're going to talk about the dial. They're my personal favorite. If I have one at a machine or somewhere, it's going to be probably a dial caliper. In order to read dial calipers, the first thing we need to do is figure out what all the numbers and lines mean. So the 0 is obviously 0. Then we have whole inches. You can see the 1 inch line here. Then we have tenths of an inch. So here's 1/10 of an inch, here's 2/10 of an inch. And then we have a tenth of that, or a hundredth of an inch. And that's what all these numbers are on the dial face. And then each line around that dial is a thousandth of an inch. So the way to read that is, this is a whole inch, this is a tenth or a 100,000th of an inch. The line with the number on it is a 10,000th, or this, I'm pointing to the 80, so this is 80 thousandths of an inch. And all the lines in between, each line is 1,000th of an inch. So let's get started reading something. Here's our first example. We have the 0 for whole inches. The whole inch line doesn't appear, so we know it's less than an inch. The edge of the calipers right here is where we're going to read these numbers. And the last one we see is the 7. And we're going by the line next to the 7, not the number itself. And then over on the dial, the needle is on 0. So that means that this is 700 thousandths of an inch. Here's another example that's under an inch. We know that because it's a 0. There is no whole inch showing. Here we have the 8 and the line next to the 8 visible. So we know it's over 800 thousandths. And the needle is past the 70, and it's 5 spaces past that 70. So it's 875, or 875 thousandths of an inch. Here's another example that's a little bit bigger. We can see our 1, so we know it's our 1 for the inch size, and so we know it's over an inch. Here we can see the smaller 1, which is a tenth of an inch, or 100 thousandths. Both is the same thing, just said differently. So we know it's at least 1 inch, 100 thousandths, and here it's past the 20, and it's 5 lines past the 20, so that's 25. So we have 1 inch, 125 thousandths of an inch. All right, here's another one. See if you can do it yourself along with me.
All right, take a shot at reading that.
One point.
0.313.
What'd you say?
313.
Point, go ahead.
Is it 1.313 thousandths?
Yes. 1, because you're past the 1 inch, so it's gonna be 1.313.
One off.
Do you see that?
Is it me?
Yeah.
I ain't lying, that's old. I got the one part, 1.3.
Everybody got it?
Yeah.
So here I'm pointing to the 1, that's a whole inch. And what's next? Here we have the line next to the 3, so it's 1 inch and somewhere over 300 thousandths. And the amount over the 300 thousandths is 10, plus it goes, the needle is 3 thousandths past the 10, so it's 13. So what do we have here? We have 1 inch, 313 thousandths. Here's another example. So
All right, take a shot at it.
That's 2.998.
Yep.
That's 98 on the circular one. It's on the first one. 0.9.
Point 898.
I get all the left, but I got the circle. I just gotta get the wrong.
Yeah, that's the hardest part.
That's the easiest part. 1 to 100.
So we don't see the 1 for the whole inch, so it's less than an inch. Here's the 0, obviously. And here we see the 8 and a little bit of the 9. So what do you think? Is that 900 thousandths? It's kind of hard to tell because this edge is so close to that 9. Well, here's how you can tell very easily. To know if it's on the left or the right side of that 9, you look at the dial, and the needle is 2 thousandths, or 2 lines, less than the 0. So in other words, it's not quite up to the 9. The measurement that we're seeing here is 0 whole inches, so it's 898 thousandths of an inch. Here's just a little something in case you noticed these lines up on the top of the scale, these are actually in millimeters.
I don't care about that. So, what's this one?
Good afternoon, students. Please feel free to stop by Bruce's office for root beer float. Thank you.
1.372.
Does anybody want a root beer float?
Which office was that?
Last office on the left-hand side. If you want it, you better go.